Hi, Sherry Borger, Stampin' Up by Sherry Borger. I'm going over my August 2023 stamp camp. My cards I made were 4 cards, and I used the Stamp Sets Waves of Inspiration and Friends Are Like Seashells. They're ones from not too far back, so I think many of you might even have this. So those that are in my stamp camp, I have already pre-cut all of the supplies that you need. So all of you are just needing to use your own adhesive, your own glue dots, etc. And so I will go over these. This is first one, second one, third one, and my fourth one. So okay, so you can just kind of see what they are. Your strength is an inspiration. You're totally awesome. Friends are like seashells, and you are unique. Okay, so let's go over these cards. I'm gonna zoom back out just a little bit so you get more of my surface. Okay, so this one is using Waves of Inspiration. This particular set also had die cuts. So everything is already that needs a die cut has been used. This pelican was a die cut. I stamped it and then die cut the pelican out. This is very easy to assemble. You're using a cardstock Coastal Cabana. The piece underneath is a silver foil. So it is like this. Silver foil, I think, came in 3 different foils. This is a very shiny silver. This one here is a little bit duller. And then there's one that's even more dull as well. So I cut the shiny, the super shiny, and the medium. I'm going to say silver foil. So what I did was I used the 12 by 12 paper that coordinated it. This is like the waves, obviously. And this side is very watery looking, green and blue. This one also had some blue with a little bit more of a Calypso coral over here type thing. The Calypso coral will come into play for the next card. So I cut different colors from the cardstock to create this piece. So if you look at your instruction sheets, you'll actually see the exact dimensions for all of this. So this is a long, narrow piece. These 2 pieces are the same size. This one here is the same width, different height. Okay. This is white cardstock, and then I stamped and die cut the pelican, which was right here in the set. Okay. So everything is basically as you see it. You kind of put everything the way you want it, and then you're going to use your adhesive, either your Stamp & Seal, or if you are trying to get rid of some of your old what am I getting here? Glue dots. Trying to get rid of some of your old glue dots, you know, great way to do that. So these are all flat. The silver's flat to surface as well. But with my pelican, what I did is I did raise that up using dimensionals. You can use the regular size dimensionals, or you can use the mini ones. The mini ones don't have as high of a height, which sometimes I do like. And it's going to be small enough to fit behind the head here of the pelican. So once that's assembled, you have a card. Simple enough for that one. This next one, going to put this? Oh, you know what? I'm going to set it in my drawer. This next one is right here. You're So Totally Awesome. It is using Calypso Coral, and I found of the designer series paper, I used pieces that had this on it. There's actually a full sheet that has this. Okay, so you're going to cut it down. You can get, I believe you can get like 6 pieces maybe out of there for this. So it's cut to 5 1/4 by 4, and then I got the rectangle stitched die cut, and I put it in the middle, put it through my die cutting machine, and cut out the middle. Then what I did was I cut same size white cardstock to create my wave. Here's my wave. Okay, this one is not as dark as you could make it darker if you wanted. So what you're doing is you're taking your big wave stamp right here, and then you're taking, what I did is I used, just so you have a reference here, and here is yellow. I used this Lemon Lolly Yellow, which is a new one with this catalog, and then the surrounding color was Calypso Coral. So you're taking your yellow stamp pad, and you're going to get this part of your stamp with the yellow. Then you're going to take your Calypso Coral, and you're going to get the surrounding area, and make sure you do get everything in here when you're stamping. Now you want the light color first, then the dark color, because then the dark color will absorb in this lighter color if it gets onto this ink. Whereas if this darker color gets onto the lighter color ink, well, then you've kind of made a mess of your ink pad, because now you have all the darker colors in there. So you do it the opposite. Then I stamped my paper, and it swirled it real nice. I really do like that look. So that is that. Then you're taking your frame, you're putting it over the top, you're sealing it with Stampin' Seal. You're sealing it around. Now once it's sealed, you are taking your thread, and it's going underneath the piece, you see. Then you have this stamped label, which is actually a die cut as well out of here. It's right here. It's this die here, which just creates the label. You're going to fish your thread, or whatever you want to use, through here, and I knotted it over into the corner. And once you have that done, then you take the whole thing, you put it on top of your card base, center it on. Then everyone is going to be getting these blue rhinestones. I have a strip of light blue and a strip of dark blue rhinestones, and I use 3 rhinestones, and I put 1 here and 2 here, and I mixed it up with the colors. 1 was dark, 2 were light. You could do it however you wanted. Okay, so that would be that one there. So with the first card, I will just say that you can also then do the same thing here. I forgot to show you, because I used these faux sea glass, but if you're in my stamp camp, I didn't give you any of these. You may have purchased them when they were clearanced, that's how I got them. So I did use the sea glass on here, but you could actually use your blue rhinestones in replace of them. So that is that one. Okay, number 2 is done. Let's go to number 3. Number 3 is a little fun, but it has its elements of assembly. So this is using the other stamp set. Friends are like seashells. It's using this stamp set. Now here, these pictures are actually not as big as the stamps themselves, but that's because there's so many of them. There's actually 2 sets. There's a stamp set that goes this side and a stamp set on this side. So I love when my stamp sets are like that. So we're using the sand dollar, the starfish, and then the little clam, I think. And then Friends Are Like Seashells sentiment. What I did is I used white cardstock, and then here's how the pieces come when you're in my stamp camp. Everything's cut. I kind of threw everything in the middle, and then I put everything in an envelope separated out so you have it separate. So I cut a white piece of cardstock that was 5 1/4 by 4, and I put it through an embossing folder. This one I used, it's just one that's kind of got spots. Not really spots, but I thought it looked more sea life than some of my other ones. Well, I had a lot of flowers. No, flowers aren't in the bottom of the ocean. So then I took designer series paper, and that's what went in the middle here, and then it's covered with vellum. So as you can see, it is a piece of designer series paper that I found from a long time ago that I've had forever because I thought I would do something nautical. Here's the actual designer series paper. So I've cut this down to make the centerpiece. So everyone has a little bit, so each card's got a little bit something different, which I love. So this is this piece. I think it's like a 3 by 4 piece. The vellum, exact same size, goes on top. Now, what you want to do is consider or realize your shells are going to go over here. Your sentiment's going to go over here. So that is where you're going to place your adhesive on the vellum, so that way it does get covered up by these objects. Otherwise, what happens is the vellum, the adhesive, at first may not look like much, but after a while it becomes very clear where your stamp and seal is, because it's like it gets darker. Tends to get darker. So you're going to put this together on here, and then because this is a raised edge, you want to use on the back of this, you want to use probably mini glue dots, and because it's got a little bit more stickiness to it, and so it will stay to the surface better. Put those 2 pieces on top of your larger piece. Then once that's done, that is when you're going to wrap your twine around. And this one here is just with like a tan twine, yeah. But I also found this. This is going to be super neat. It's red. It's a red and white, and that's going to go on there. Well, actually, it's like a cherry cobbler is what it is. And that is the color of your small shell, is cherry cobbler. Then the color of so cherry cobbler is the color of your small shell. Your starfish is crumb cake. And your sand dollar is Misty Moonlight. And then with this red around it, it looks sweet. So that's where the die cuts come in play. If you don't have them, you can fussy cut around all of these, but for me, I can't fussy cut with just the one hand, so this is better. So here's your starfish. This piece here covers the sand dollar. This piece here goes over your small clamshell. Once you've got that all done, then you're gonna assemble on top of your vellum. And you've already got your your twine or whatever you want to call it. You've wrapped it, you wrap it around twice is what you do. And once you've done that, you want to get something, you want it to be solid. So then you're going to take this and you're going to put it on the surface of your card base. So you can, if you want to put it on dimensions, you can. I didn't, I had it flat to the card base because this white piece just seemed a little flimsy. So then once you've got everything stamped and cut, this was a die cut, a stitch die cut as well that has since been retired. That would go there, and you got your 3 shells that you've put together over here. Now what I did is these items here are on dimensionals. So after you put your cord around, you're going to want your dimensionals on your sentiment. You want some on top and some on bottom so it can straddle your thread. So it straddles it, and then you don't have any wobbliness with it. The same thing you're going to do with your sand dollar. Put your dimensionals on it, but so it's also going to be able to straddle this twine. Otherwise what happens is after a while that twine pulls away at this what you've put over the top of it, and it eventually just kind of pops right off. So my starfish I have hanging over my sand dollar a bit. So the piece of the starfish that's going to be on the sand dollar, I used glue dot behind it so it could stay. And then the piece that's off from the sand dollar, I did put I cut part of a dimensional to put underneath. Now your little clamshell, that one I put flat to the surface. I put it, tucked it under the seashell, the starfish. I tucked it under the starfish and put it on top of the sand dollar. So that was this one. I did use the faux, you can barely see them. I did use the faux sea rock. You can't really see them. So these actually are going to be a better bet. They're going to show up a lot better. So you put 2 or 3 on there. It's a personal decision. So that is the 3rd card. Now let's go to the 4th card. This is going to be a real fun card. It's just got some specialness to it. So this one here is using, it's actually not even using this Friends Are Like Seashells. It's using one of the sentiments, but it's not using this stamp, because what you're doing is you are taking your die cut and you're cutting it straight out, okay? So the colors that I have here, I picked Flirty Flamingo for the card base. Then you see this piece right here, and it was really hard to figure out what to use with that one. That is the Sweet Sorbet. I really do love the combination. This one here is using a glitter paper that is kind of a white, kind of a greenish white. It's real pretty. But I also had glitter paper that was a Flirty Flamingo type color. So I have cut that as well to fit my card. And so I'm going to walk you through this. This is a gold foil. So I took my gold foil piece, which is 12 by 12, Okay, I cut it into 4 pieces, so I have 4 6x6 pieces. The 6x6 piece will be enough to cover this die. So this die, once it's cut, is just a solid piece. But look at this. Look at this, has actually some raised dimension to your shells, right? Well, how did we do that? Well, that was done by this 3D embossing folder. So as you can see, it has all of the shells. So what I did was I put the gold. I like the gold instead of the silver for this particular project. I put it in here, and you're going to match up. What I did is I worked on this piece and some of these top pieces to kind of match it up. So you match it up. You're going to press, fold it over. Then you're going to press it through your embossing equipment. Then as you can see, now all of the dimension has now been embossed into this piece of gold. So it's very, very pretty. So that, I'm using the whole piece. If you don't like it to hang over, because it does hang over just a smidge, you can trim it. So once you've got all these pieces together, you're going to use your thread, or actually ribbon. It's a metallic ribbon. It's a Flirty Flamingo, but it is metallic ribbon. And so it has that gold specks in it, which is real pretty. So you're going to tie it. Again, just to remind you that when you have surfaces that are not flat, like this glitter paper is not a flat surface. So because it's not a flat surface, and then this isn't a flat surface either, really, when you think about it. So now then what I did behind this piece is I took glue dots, but I stacked my glue dots. So I had 2 glue dots, and I stacked them here. I stacked them at, the corners of where the shells are. Then you want to make sure what you're doing is you get everything lined up. And so this needs to be lined up so it will not look funky, and you want it to fit your card. So once that is down and you get your ribbon tied around, you can then flip it over, put tape or Stampin' Seal behind here, and put it to the surface. Now what you could do is, if this knot's going to be in the way when you're trying to put some adhesive on it, you could do the little trick of putting some masking or some Scotch tape on the back side of your ribbon. Then you can flip it over, do your Stampin' Seal, seal it on, then knot it, and then you're going to put your sentiment. I used "You Are Unique and Completely Amazing," which is really nice. I used the Sweet Sorbet color. You could definitely use the Flirty Flamingo as well. And then I put it at an angle where my knot was, and I used Stampin' Mini glue dots underneath, one in each corner, and put that together. So that was the 4th card. I hope you enjoyed making these cards. They were a lot of fun. Make sure you keep your instruction sheets, because I have on many occasions gone back to my instruction sheets so I could recreate a card. I've made, I'll make the cards and I give them out to friends, and then all of a sudden they're wanting a set of cards. So it's very easy to go back, pull out your instruction sheets, and it's right there. And I put in the colors that I've used for these cards, but you can easily go with colors that you have in your own personal supply and then make them as well. Some things are a little nice to have, like a cut and emboss, a stamping and an emboss machine, of course, that'd be nice. But making sure you get things like the coordinating designer series paper, it's always nice. You know, I don't do it with every single one, but this particular one, I just really felt it was going to be a good set. And I'm glad I did. This Waves of Inspiration, I'm glad I did. And then I am very glad that I ended up getting this 3D embossing folder, because this is beautiful. And then the die cuts, I didn't use these waves in this one, but I do plan on making some cards with the waves, and I will make some more videos when I do that as well. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, message me. Subscribe, and that way you'll for sure get the ones that all the videos that I put out there. Of course, I'll do another one next month. Hopefully I'll get a few in between, just some little ones with a card or two that I've made. So I will see everybody at Stamp Camp. And if you're ever interested in Stamp Camp, let me know. Bye.